Okay, next let's take a look at several popular contributed themes and how they structure files in their theme folder. I'm going to go ahead and minimize the themes folder here. I've already downloaded the themes that we're about to look at, but if you wanted to follow along, you can just go to the main themes page on Drupal.org, and all of these themes can be found on the first page. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and expand the sites directory, the all directory, and the themes directory inside of that. I'm going to minimize that. Okay, so I've downloaded 4 themes. They're Basic, Fusion, Marinelli, and Zen. I'd like to take a look at Zen first. Zen is a learning theme, so there's a lot of documentation in it, and it's structured in such a way as to really guide the user to create a sub-theme based off of Zen. And we'll be talking about sub-themes soon in a coming video. Let's go ahead and just work through these files. First of all, we have a changelog.txt, which is useful because this helps users as they upgrade their theme from one version to another know what's changed. So if they run into issues with their CSS or their template files, they can look at the changelog and find out what's happened between versions. This includes a license, which is the default GPL license, the logo file, a README file. This one is called README first, just to be clear that you should read this before you start using Zen. In the README, it explains what this starter kit folder is for, which is a starter kit for a sub-theme for Zen. Now the idea here is that you would copy this and use that as your sub-theme, replacing all mentions of the word starter kit with the name of your sub-theme. It has a template.php file, a templates folder, a theme settings file for adding additional settings to the theme settings page, and it has this Zen internals folder. Let's go ahead and expand that and take a look at what's inside. So this has CSS and images, a screenshot file, template.themeregistry.inc, and template.zen.inc. Now all of these are things that you would normally see in the base folder of a theme, but Zen decided to put it inside of here to make it clear that these are things that you shouldn't change. These are things that are central to Zen. Because you're supposed to be creating a sub-theme, all of these things should remain untouched. Let's go ahead and expand the CSS folder and see how Zen has its CSS files structured. I'm scrolling down, and you see there's actually quite a bit going on here. There's maybe 20 different CSS files. Now, something that's interesting to point out here is that some of these CSS files don't contain any actual definitions of styles, but instead just include selectors. And this allows theme developers to know what types of things that they can adjust. It not only has the selector, but what the selector links up to in the interface. So for example, if we open up this fields.css file, we see that field type, date time, field time, file field, none of these have actual style definitions, but it includes some instructions on what this actually applies to. This has the side benefit of allowing people using Firebug to work through their CSS and to modify their CSS to use styles that don't necessarily have any style definitions to them, but instead just have the selector set in the CSS file. I'm going to jump back to the file directory. Okay, let's go ahead and collapse this CSS. You see here that there are a couple of inc files, and these are prefaced with template to imply that they're used inside of the template.php file. But since these are not something that really should be used externally, it's added in this Zen internals folder instead of being included in the template.php file. One other thing to note here is that the screenshot is not in the base directory, and so in the zen.info file there's a definition for specifying where the screenshot can be found.